Hello, my name is Nelson Granados. I'm an assistant professor of information systems at the Gracidio School of Business and Management, Pepperdine University. In this video, I will talk about how IT can improve your business. Every firm can benefit from the latest technological advances, whether you're an established multinational company, a small business, or a startup, or whether you are in a high-tech industry or not. So in the next few minutes, I will talk about how any business can benefit from IT from both a strategic and operational perspective. Also, the reality is that about 2/3 of IT projects fail based on studies from academics and consultants, either because they're not completed, only partially completed, or because they go over budget. So I will provide some preliminaries on how you can be a part of the other third that incorporates IT into an operation in a way that positively impacts the bottom line. So for that purpose, I have developed 5 guidelines. Let's look at the first one. Don't automate a mess. So here's a common scenario. You realize the need to use technology to improve your operation. You contact the vendor. The vendor convinces you that you need the solution. You purchase it. You implement it, and then it fails. The underlying problem in this scenario may be that the process that you're trying to automate was overlooked, and indeed it may be flawed. So before you implement an IT solution, first understand the processes in your firm, and only then should you determine how IT can improve each process. Think here about IT as an enabler of a business operation, where the focus will be on gaining efficiencies, that is, a faster and leaner operation. So let me bring the point across with the following example of the customer-to-cash processes in a small business. This figure here describes at least part of this process, from receiving a purchase order to collecting a deferred payment. First thing would be to see if there are flaws in the process that can be improved. But even if you have the right process in place, there are IT solutions that allow the right information to flow within the organization and also to record milestones until you achieve the right outcomes. Notice also that this customer-to-cash process is related to other processes in the organization. So for example, receiving a purchase order is also a subcomponent of the sales process. Accounts receivable updates should trigger changes in financial statements. So again, here there are well-developed IT solutions that integrate processes and business functions known as enterprise resource planning systems, and there are affordable products out there for small businesses. Now let's go to the second guideline. Know what to know. So what do you need to know in order for your business to succeed? By answering this question, you will be able to identify the core processes that you need to pay most attention to and the information necessary to support these processes. This guideline, together with the first one, will help you find the right technology for your business. So one approach to know what to know is to identify the factors that are critical for the success of your business. Once you identify these factors, you will realize that there are things that you know, but there may also be things that you don't know, and for which you need to create or redesign a new process, and for which you need to implement an IT solution to bring the necessary information. So here you will benefit from IT-enabled business intelligence. So what do I mean by that? It is the use of IT to make accurate information available to the right audience at the right time for decision making. And the focus will be on effectiveness, that is, using information to make the right decisions in addition to making the operation leaner and faster. So let me illustrate this with the following example. This is a critical success factor dashboard that, slightly modified, was developed by one of our students at Pepperdine School of Business. It identifies each state of each success factor of a small business. For small businesses, cash is king, so it is critical to monitor cash on hand. And I have included others like inventory, sales, and accounts receivable. So an executive can monitor the state of each success factor and how it relates to the company's viability. So if a critical success factor dial turns, the viability dial in the center of the dashboard turns either towards the green, which means viable, or towards the red, which means bankruptcy. So you can imagine an executive getting this picture daily via feed to her computer or mobile phone, or you can also play with what-if scenarios in a meeting before a decision is made. For example, you could assess the impact on the viability of the firm of a reduction in sales due to the recession. So once you identify the processes and information required to support them, you need to find the right IT solution. So guideline 3 is don't reinvent the wheel wherever possible. There are many IT solutions available for most standard processes of a business operation. Some are even tailored to specific industries or businesses. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that you're off the hook and you can buy IT solutions like you purchase a watch or a car. You still need to ask vendors to show you proof of concept through demos perhaps, or through visits at companies that have implemented this solution. On this regard, an important emerging trend is cloud computing. Cloud computing is a buzzword that reflects the underlying reality that many IT solutions can be found online and can be provided via an internet connection. So if you're a small business or a startup, you can be up and running with sophisticated IT infrastructure by paying a subscription fee for an IT solution that is provided online. And all you need is an internet connection. You even have tools to develop your own application if that is what you decide to do. Guideline number 4. How do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time, right? Well, the same lesson applies here. Whether you develop an IT solution in-house or purchase it from a vendor or rent it online via subscription fee, make sure you test before bringing it live. And if it is a large IT project, develop it in steps or pilots to minimize downside risk. Then when there is a proof of concept of technology, you can then replicate it to other sites. The key here is to save duplication of efforts and headaches as you implement the IT solution. So by doing it first in one site or only partially, you will perhaps redesign processes and change human tasks. Some will go away, some will be created. And then you will bring in those changes in all the other sites or stages of the implementation in a much smoother way. Finally, guideline number 5 is to develop an IT strategy. And perhaps the best way to understand it is by showing how IT investment decisions should be linked to your business strategy using the following figure. Let's say your business strategy is to differentiate by providing top customer service. Well, that should help you determine what your information strategy is. What information will you need to deploy to provide the best customer service? What information will you provide to sales agents and customer service agents to best serve customers? And what information will customers demand about your service? That will consist of your information strategy. This is also where the consideration of the processes in your organization come into place. So what are the core processes that must be developed to provide that quality service? Only then should come the IT strategy. That is, the IT strategy follows the first 2 strategic steps. So how can I best use technology to implement the information strategy that I have devised? How will the technology support the business processes that will support the strategy? So for example, if you find that a key demand from customers is to see information online about your product offerings in a tailored manner, then you will need to deploy the right technology to provide the information via the internet in a reliable manner and in a way that users can customize it to their own needs. Also here you should think about technology in the context of competition. So is IT an enabler of the process purely, or is it also a core component of your strategy such that it can provide you a competitive advantage? So for example, is the online channel a strategic component of your business? Well, it may be for an online travel agency like Travelocity, but not for an import-export company that's brick and mortar and that only uses it to enable transactions and interaction with clients. So if a technology is indeed considered strategic to your firm, you may be rightly so compelled to develop it internally and make it unique to your business. So let me end by showing you again the 5 guidelines. Here they are. While I make one last point. I honestly don't think that most of you have a choice but to consider these guidelines. You may think you don't need to because your business is functioning well or it's producing profits. But that may be because since most IT projects fail, many businesses, including your competitors, could be operating suboptimally. But actually those few that figure it out, perhaps applying some of these guidelines, are likely to get ahead in terms of a more efficient and effective operation. Thank you very much.